But what would it perhaps have been? How differently would we have been having a conversation then if it were the other way around?
I'm not sure we would be having the conversation. I mean, I think that we would have had greater loss of life. I do believe so than we have had. Any loss of life is a tragedy. But I think that Category 5 on Kingston would have destroyed it just as it has done to Black River and to Santa Cruz and to Falmouth and to all of the other areas that have been devastated. I mean, I don't think that we could say to ourselves that we wouldn't have been as affected. I mean, yes, we may have more concrete buildings and more resilient, but our light poles, all of that would be down.
And our economics would look a little differently, I believe, too.
A whole lot differently. I mean, if this was 1.2 trillion,
yes,
and Kingston was saved.
Kingston certainly being the hub would have slowed the sectors even further.
Definitely, because at least with hubs being in Kingston, I mean, with government being based in Kingston, most major utility companies, infrastructure, manufacturers, distributors, the banking.
Too much to tell.
Almost everything, tourism was really hubbed in Kingston. And so because of us being spared, we have been able to provide the support to the west and to the northern parishes. If we had not, I shudder to think.
Well, thank you so much, Catherine Silvera, President of the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, JMEA. Well, that's it for Lead Story. I'm Nika Lewis. Thanks for having joined us.
Let's delve deep into the issues. We'll take you beneath the surface.
Greetings and salutations. My name is Orville Higgins, and it's another edition of Fan Central.
Talking to the people at the heart of the top sporting stories. Hear from your favorite sportsmen and women and the administrators who work tirelessly to make it all happen. It's a live sports talk.
I've written an entire article.
Yes.
Looking at all the major issues every Tuesday at 9 p.m. It's Fan Central. It's time.
Welcome to High School Pitchside. We have another fascinating episode for you.
More matches, more big clashes.
Let's talk about some of the big rivalries coming up this week.
More of your favorite features.
And trust me, you won't fall asleep in this history class.
And of course, we always want to hear from you.
Hear from your alma mater's players and coaches in Team Talk.
You know we can't leave you out. So send us your messages on social media and watch us react on FanView.
And you know we love a good little debate, right, Gio? We've got you covered all season long on High School Pitchside.
High School Pitchside, your ultimate guide to all things schoolboy football, Thursdays at 8 p.m. on CVM TV.
The doctors and nurses here at Boston.
Start your journey with a Jane Bank Small Business Loan. With small business loans with as little as $10,000 and up to $4 million.
The time is 6 a.m. Every dream conquered is another dream gained. I land and I fly again like a jet plane. Head straight in.
Holy Mount Zion, let's sing.
the quiet waters by Mark Myrie and Gramps on that one. I gotta tell you, big ups to Gramps Morgan, international Grammy Award winning superstars on this collaboration. One of my favorite songs of all time, and also one of my favorite psalms as well. A resplendent morning to all of you watching right here on CVM TV. It's Sunrise. I'm your Queen Diva, Mrs. Kitty, and of course I have the very beautiful viral queen TK with me right here on a beautiful Monday morning from Kingston, Jamaica, broadcasting from 69 Constant Spring Road, and wherever you are in the world, we have you covered this morning. Thank you so much for joining us, and it's always our pleasure to be here to serve you. T-Kizzle, viral queenizzle,
Mrs. Kittizzle,
Virizzle. I gotta tell you, you know your thing luge, you know your thing large when you're ending up in different groups, right? And people are like, oh my God, look at this person, look what she said, look what she's proposing, and we think we're going to implement that. So that was absolutely awesome. Talk to me about that video. What prompted you to do it? And obviously it has gone viral, so what's the response been like?
So for those of you who might not be on social media and have no idea what Mrs. Kitty is talking about, no, what happened is that actually it came from an idea here where one of the young ladies from St. Elizabeth said one of the basic things that people need after the
interviewing, yes,
was just regular pipe water.
Yes.
And we said, okay, no, but that's something everybody can do. We have it in abundance in Kingston and other parts of Jamaica. So I took the initiative. I live in a gated community, so I shot out in the WhatsApp group, hi guys, please just give me a piped water, regular pipe water. I'm not sending you to no supermarket. You don't have to spend any money. And my neighborhood was like, wow, that's a good initiative. Let's do it. And rallied around. We got over 150 bottles. People ended up buying bottled water as well. And so I thought, if this is something that my community took on to so easily, if so many other apartment complexes, gated communities, and I said those because it's just a high concentration of people in the same space, easier logistically to to arrange. And I said maybe other people would be interested. And I've gotten flyers from other people who have done it for their neighborhood, and I'm just really, really happy that it's taking off and people can get to bed.
I love that.
People can get to cook if
even
they have
in
that,
crisis, creativity can definitely come alive. And I really liked the idea when we spoke about it here as well. But big ups to you for taking the initiative to do the video, because even now, persons who are going down to these affected areas, office staff, persons who are going down, they can take this. And guess what? It costs you nothing. Right? Because sometimes people are saying, Lord, they want to help, but they don't really have the money. And I do understand, because TK, trust me, it is a Herculean task as to how to get this and fixed and how to help and how to contribute. And some people really don't have the money. But guess what? We all have the water in our pipes. And we can all just get some bottles and we can fill them up and take them to those who are most affected. And so I really love that. So
thank you.
Clap that, girl.
Hey.
You did that. You did that. You did
that.
Thank
you so much.
I love it. Love it for the people. I just want to say, though, for us here in Kingston, if there is any among us who feel like they want to complain about anything at all, I'm going to ask you to just put your fingers on your lips. TK, I went to Montego Bay on Saturday. We laid to rest the very beautiful Bishop Carmel May Hall, mother of Ryan Tango Prendergast, my manager. Yes, Tango's mommy passed away. May her soul rest in eternal peace. And so we had our celebration over the weekend, and it was a celebration because, let me tell you, I've never been to a funeral where the sound, the acoustics, let me tell you, it come like a show. I say, a jazz and blues, like, it was so clean and clear. I said, this is a Tango's entertainment production.
Wow.
The screen was work, the screens work, the mic work. You know how normally sometimes we're like, hello? You heard me? No.
None of that.
Even the priests, were vibesy. I was like,
that's
Anita, wow.
Awesome.
Like, who knew?
Celebration for real.
It was celebration for real. Kevin Downswell was there. Gramps Morgan was there. Short Boss was there. Akeem and Ramon from Digital Rising Stars, they were there. Shirley Caesar was supposed to have been there, but, based on the storm and flight cancellations and so on. But I want to send love to Tango this morning. Lots of support. Your family. Big ups to Kurt, Barbara, the entire family, Alana, and everybody. And when I was en route, I said to myself, this is so heartbreaking. TK, I'm telling you, whatever you think you can imagine, whatever you think you see online, it pales in comparison to what you see in person. It's almost as if there was somebody with some acid would just burn off the leaves off the trees, or there was like some fire or torch in the rain and wind that completely torched the place. So after we had this, so we left Kingston and we left early because I said, you know, I want to make sure I'm early. I don't want to be late, you know, because I'm hosting. I don't want to. And I like being early and settled. TK, Mr. Arden, my husband, hi, Mr. Wilkinson, good morning, my love. We said we're not drinking a tea cup, we don't want late, Nita. Come and say, sure, when we reach Mobile, you know, we'll stop at Burger King or, you know what I'm saying? Get some breakfast somewhere, you know, along the hip strip.
And then...
Nothing.
Nothing.
I said, okay,
oh, no.
All right, let me just wait. And I had a bottle of water. We had water. I said, okay. So we literally had to fast, you know, because there was like limited, nothing at all. I went to a place called Spot Valley. You know, normally you're driving on the main and you see like a sign says Spot Valley.
Yes.
And that is something that it just dawned on me that though we are tending to the places on the flat and near the roadside, a lot of the interior have been forgotten, or not forgotten, but they've not been reached as yet. And there are many people in Spot Valley. I passed one place named Slippery Gutter. Look here, TK. We are seeing some footage now. You know, we got some footage from the what's left of the road. And one of the things that was so frightening for me was that it's not a road anymore. It's like a little riverbed looking thing that looks like it can collapse at any time. As well as when you're literally in the valley, you have no phone service whatsoever, which suggested to me that the people there are cut off and nobody knows, and they have no way of reaching anybody. I saw a lady, she looked like a grandma with 2 children on the bridge, and TK, it just looked so desperate. You can see desolation, you know what I mean? You saw people like in a creek washing and trying to make washing their cars, trying to function, and it just literally broke my heart. We got lost. Well, my husband said we didn't get lost. We veered off the path.
Okay.
And God put us on the path that we were supposed to be. And so I'm going with his rationale. I ended up in a place called Adelphi. Have you ever heard of Adelphi?
I've heard of Adelphi. I don't think I've been there.
Never heard of Adelphi. I want to say good morning to the police officers at the Adelphi police station who gave us some directions to where we needed to go. So we went through Adelphi. We went through Chatham, Goodwill, and Salt Marsh. And let me tell you, it is painful to see the condition of what is left up there.
You know what strikes me, Miss Kitty, is the people, like you mentioned, the grandmother. You know, when on my way to Westmoreland, when I went, it's almost just seeing the people sitting. It's like you don't know what to do. You don't know where to start. It's kind of just it's like a blank stare off into like a distance, and you don't even know what to say to somebody in that situation or how to help them. You know. And so, boy, I know exactly what you mean when you said the grandmother just kind of looking out.
Listen, the 2 children were reading their books, you know, and I'm saying, TK, they have no electricity. And if it looked so, you know, overwhelming in the day and so dark and gloomy, when the blanket of night covers the place, I can only imagine what's going on. And so I'm asking the politicians, I'm asking relief aid people. I myself, I'm starting to coordinate my own relief efforts to go and help persons, right? Because the help can't do much.
It cannot.
And I want to impress upon the minds of persons, right? Like, I know that you gave last week, but maybe somebody else can come and give this week because the things ain't finished. But I also want us to remember the people in the interior, persons in Penline Castle, in St. Thomas, because a lot of people don't realize, to TK, that St. Thomas was hit as well. And so you have a place called Penline Castle District, right? They've been cut off. A lot of people are where the Yalas River has overflown the banks. They are cut off. They are not getting any aid. They are not getting any help. And we need to also remember the people in the interior because they don't, a lot of them don't have ways and means to come down to where the relief is being given. And so they're often left out. TK, it is no light task at all. This is going to take months, if not years, to fix and to just get it done. Yeah. But I want us to remember the people in the interior, remember our senior citizens, remember the disabled, remember the children, remember women who are pregnant and people who are amputees, people who cannot come. And I'm also going to ask the residents, if you have already received handout, relief, remember somebody else who has not yet got. Yeah. And if you know somebody in your community that's unable to come out and you are able to go, collect something for them and bring back to them so that they can have something as well.
Oh, definitely. But I'm hoping that we are going to be seeing some improvement, improvement of spirit, improvement of environment, improvement to the whole space, because I know this is going to be a tough road, but even if you get a little movement forward, it can bring hope into all of these communities. So we're looking forward to that.
My husband kept me together because it was just so much for me.
It was a lot.
Like,
it was a lot.
It was his strength and his, laughter and, just his spirit that kept me. One time, I said, if I was driving, I'd probably just pull over and just call and bawl and just ask him to send a record for company. Because at this point, I'm so,
and I'm sure a lot of people are feeling that way. So hopefully we can bring some. I'm hoping that the mixtape is bringing us some cheer.
Yeah.
We're not sure, we don't know.
Yeah.
But let's bring a little sunrise
good morning,
to sunrise.
Yes, to the people in Adelphi, Chatham, Goodwill, Salt Marsh, Spot Valley, Slippery Gully, okay? Good morning to all of you. You're not forgotten. We remember you guys, and we're sending you love, we're sending you strength, and hopefully more relief will get to you sooner than later. Penline Castle. Good morning, St. Thomas. Mixtape, please, guys.
Yes,
let's go.
Let's rise again with this morning's mixtape.
Searching for strength to keep you safe.
What can we do to make it better? Is it too late for us to try? Now I rethink the things I treasure. A fragment of hope is in these eyes. We shall rise again. We shall rise.
Welcome back to Sunrise, and thank you so very much for joining us from all over the world. Good morning to everybody in Florida watching. Good morning to everyone in London, Canada. Good morning to you. Good morning to everybody in Barbados, Trinidad, Turks and Caicos. And good morning to Millie from Woolmer's High School for Girls. Agequadagis. Good morning, Miss Millie. Miss Millie says she watches Sunrise every morning. She watches Mother and Mommy Diaries, and she absolutely loves Mrs. Kitty and Uncle Dennis. And Michaela know Millie too, so yes. Good morning to Millie. Well, right now, though, we have the latest headlines for you, courtesy of the viral queen herself, TK.
Good morning once again. Good morning once again. I'm glad you big up everybody around the world. Big up, of course, to our YouTubers.
Absolutely.
And our YouTube family. They're at our new YouTube page, which is CVM Television Jamaica. Hope you're watching online, as we love to see you there. Right?
Absolutely.
All right, so let's jump into the headlines. First up, JCF sound food safety alarm after cow carcasses found in van. The Jamaica Constabulary Force, JCF, is urging consumers to be vigilant when buying meat after a van carrying 4 cow carcasses was intercepted in Manchester early Sunday morning. The Toyota Hiace was stopped along the porous main road by officers from the Manchester Police Division and the Area 2 Agricultural Protection Branch. But the driver fled the scene, leaving behind the carcasses with their heads still attached. The discovery has sparked concerns about the safety and origin of unregulated meat, especially in the wake of Hurricane Melissa, which disrupted supply chains across Western Jamaica. Now, Senior Superintendent Oral Pasco of the APB said teams are working overnight to clamp down on illegal butchering and the distribution of unsafe meat, and are reminding Jamaicans to buy only from licensed sources to avoid potential health risks. As you can imagine, this happening.
You know, TK, when I hear of incidents like these, it angers me so much that we can be so evil toward each other. Because the people them where you go sell this meat, where you capture and kill under questionable circumstances, it's gonna affect you, we, poor people, we, it's gonna affect. And in this time of devastation, in this time of such great loss, because to earn a quick buck, you would put the lives of your brothers and sisters and children at risk for your own selfish gains. Shame on you. Shame on you. And every money a good money, you know. And sometimes when the things them reach them in a life and reaction attack them say people are worried them say God not like them say all kind of things and people bad. No, are the sins. Because you can't plant corn and reap peas. What sense does it make? We're already up to our eyeballs in stress and problems. And you want to exacerbate the problem now by killing animals or kidnapping and sell them. You see,
it's a level of selfishness. It's a matter of, I just want this money for me and for my family so that I can get the things that I want without really thinking about the repercussions
and
that
the consequences.
It has and the consequences on others. And I mean, this is a huge health risk. You're now adding probably illness to somebody who has so much loss. Let's not do that.
And TK, we have other illnesses that with which we're already dealing. And so leptospirosis, persons have to be very wary and careful of that. We have the mosquitoes with which we're dealing, and they come with their own set of issues. And you want to add something on it. You see, this eat a food mentality is going to be the death of us, because some people want to eat a food and them so gluttonous, them belly are go bust. We need to stop it. We need to stop it. This is not the time for it. This is not the time for it. I understand that people want money or need to make money, but not at any cost.
Yeah. All right, next up, no ID requirement for hurricane aid. As relief efforts coordinated with the JDF, ODPEM and local partners continue across the hardest hit parishes, the Ministry of Labour and Social Security is denying rumours that Jamaicans must present identification or TRNs to receive hurricane relief supplies. The ministry clarified that no documentation is needed to collect food or hygiene packages. emphasizing that ID is only required later during damage assessments to confirm ownership and eligibility for recovery benefits. Officials say the misinformation appears to stem from confusion between immediate relief efforts and post-relief verification processes. Permanent Secretary Deon Jennings assured that the ministry is adjusting operations to ensure no affected person is left behind. So some clarification there. You don't need ID to collect something, necessary food items and personal hygiene items. It's later on in the process when the rebuilding is happening that, of course, IDs of some sort will be needed.
Well, I'm happy for that clarification, because when I heard of it as well, it perturbed me, because I'm saying to myself, it's insensitive.
Absolutely.
And rather callous.
Absolutely.
Now, everything would have washed away. People lose them house. People, like, where was I going to have my ID? Like in my clothes, where would the ID be? Everything is washed away, everything is gone. And so I paused, and so I'm happy that the ministry has released this. And I'm just going to be asking the persons who are around these politicians, because sometimes the information doesn't come directly from the MP or the politician or the ministry. It is sometimes the minions around these people who are disseminating this erroneous information. And so I'm asking them, keep on the mountain, please.
Yeah.
Just go one side and sit down. So people are to get relief with ID or no ID. You don't even know yourself right now. I can't even ID myself right now. Due to when me see all Saturday, I can't even ID myself. You understand? Am I Mrs. Skitty? I don't even know. Okay? So but people wouldn't have their ID.
ID for drinking water.
Yeah.
And food that people need to eat right now is unconscionable. So
yeah.
I'm glad that there's that clarification.
I was wondering about it. I was wondering about it, and I was going to ask for some investigation to be done. So I'm happy for the clarification, and even at the later onset for permanent rebuilding efforts, that also needs to be tapered, and it also has to be dealt with delicately, because a lot of people, their titles would have washed away, right?
Yeah.
And so we have to go through the process of replacing those and getting all those necessary documents together. Right now, it's about survival. Right now, it's just getting over the hurdle. And so I'm very happy to hear that there are no IDs needed, whether TRN, regular ID, driver's license, whatever ID, none is needed to receive relief from persons at this time. So please, breathe a sigh of relief, guys, because I know a lot of people, TK, were very apprehensive about it and very worried about it. And so I'm happy that that has been laid to rest.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Final one. Melissa triggers second CRIF payout. In addition to the widely discussed $150 million CAT bond or catastrophe bond payout from the World Bank, Jamaica is also set to receive another $91.9 million from the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance Facility. The second CRIF payment, this time triggered by excessive rainfall from Hurricane Melissa, comes on top of a record $70.8 million already approved under Jamaica's tropical cyclone policy. Now, together, the combined payouts amount to roughly 15 billion Jamaican dollars. The funds are expected to provide crucial liquidity as the country tackles recovery from the Cat 5 storm, which caused an estimated $67 billion in damage. CRIF has already disbursed $8 million to Jamaica and will complete the remainder by mid-November, ensuring rapid access to recovery funds. So, we needed, helpful, and I'm looking forward to what we have in store in terms of how these monies are going to be disbursed, who gets what,
keeping them honest and keeping them accountable.
Tracked, how do we know about it? And so, but I'm happy that there were things in place. It's not, we're not totally caught off guard. There were things in place, and so now it's just a matter of using them efficiently, effectively, and quickly.
And honestly.
Honestly. So
I'm happy about that, and that's what leadership is about. Thinking ahead, right? Having that equanimity of mind to understand the place in which we live, how we can protect our citizens, how we can protect our country, how we can protect our investment, and of course how we can, if there is a disaster like this one, how we can come back from that. I also want to take the opportunity to big up and salute the artists artists, right? The dancehall artists who have come out in full force to support the relief efforts. The influencers who have come out in full force to support the relief efforts. The different entities, NGOs that have come out to support the relief effort. Because again, TK, it's not a government thing, it's not a private sector thing, it's not a PNP thing, it's not a JLP thing, it is a Jamaican people thing. And even the people from overseas who they don't even live here, they're not even Jamaicans, but they love us and they understand the gravity of what has happened, and they have also lent support. We sincerely appreciate it. One cocoa full basket, every mickle make a muckle, and I want to salute each and every one of you. I saw Spice doing her relief. Big up to Grace Hamilton, you know,
at the Grace Hamilton Foundation.
Right? Also saw Adija Palmer Foundation coming on board and really doing big things. And I'm so appreciative of every artist and everyone who has come together at a time such as this. Thank you guys so very much. The work continues. I even saw Cheryl Luxury Doll doing donations as well. The Angel Foundation doing relief efforts as well. And it's really great to see persons coming together in this very meaningful way to help our fellow Jamaicans.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Happy to see it and loving the fact that everybody's coming together at this time, like you say.
Absolutely. Thank you so very much. All right. So, guys, that's all the time we have for headlines this morning. Thank you so much for staying with us. Carlton Stewart, or should I say Carlton G. Stew, is back in studio with us to talk relief funds and accountability in Money Masterclass, brought to you today by JN Bank. So please do stay with us. We'll be right back. Yeah.
Perfect topic.
Ting-a-ling-a-ling, school bell ring, and it's back to class again. Money Master Class welcomes all of you, our Sunrise family. Thank you so much for being here with us this morning. If you're just tuning in, you're just in time, because I got to tell you, we're going to keep them honest and hold them accountable. Now, we've heard the big numbers. TK mentioned some of them earlier, from government reserves to catastrophe bonds. Jamaica now has access to more than 43 billion Jamaican dollars in relief and recovery funding. But as donations pour in and aid gets distributed, one key question remains. How do we make sure that the money goes where it's supposed to? In today's Money Masterclass, brought to you by J&B Bank, financial educator Carlton Stewart joins us to follow the money, explaining how transparency and accountability actually works when it comes to national disaster relief and what checks and balances are in place to protect taxpayers and donors alike. Good morning, Carlton G. Stew on all platforms.
Good morning, ladies. How are you all doing? Both doing?
Doing great.
Yes.
Loving the purple?
Yeah, purple because I walk into my jeans. It's plum. I'm like, but me not wear plum.
That's right.
I eat plum. What is plum?
Well, it's
I
in
know
the purple
purple.
family. Is that statement pieces from?
Statement pieces by Chris. Big up Chris.
I'm going to say something to Carlton. Like, you have a special cousin over statement pieces by Chris?
Me, I tell you at this point in time.
But I think you should be a model for statement pieces.
Chris, my people, call Chris, call my people.
Yes.
Thank you so
I'd make it happen, but you're looking very,
thank you,
really.
I
love the color on you.
Thank you very much
Love
this
it.
morning. So we want to jump in quickly because I heard TK mention some numbers, but it's so important that as we go through the relief efforts, as we go through different phases of recovery for Jamaica, that we have a clear idea and indication as to how it is that the monies are being spent, where it is being spent. A press briefing or press conference was held, and I heard one of the journalists ask a very important question. What are we going to be doing concerning accountability and transparency with the money? I will not mention anything from a political side at this point because we're all in a disaster that needs to be remedied. But we have had history. Jamaica has had history with accountability and transparency when it comes to money.
Yes.
You only hear on the back end after something has gone wrong that funds were misappropriated, or we didn't follow the correct procedures, etc., in acquiring certain things. But at a point like this, we do not want TK. Ms. Kitty, we don't want, after 2 years down the line, when persons may not have been back to where they were, we hear that we can't find $1 billion. 2 billion is no longer, accounted for. So let's jump into the information. So the impact so far of the hurricane is still not finalized, but it is estimated about $6 to $7 billion to bring us back anywhere close to where we were before. Some have estimated that the total loss to Jamaica is about, the minimum is 30% of our GDP, or our total output. One has estimated about $3.2 trillion. Remember, we spend about 1.something trillion every year from our expenditure annually, and we're about 3.2 trillion. That means it has wiped out what we have maybe give as an output over the last financial year. So the total GDP, some estimate, has been totally wiped out based on the damages so far. So, but the good thing that relief so far is about 43 billion has come in already. 43 billion Jamaican dollars. TK mentioned it, but I'll still break that down. In donations so far, about 170 million Jamaican dollars, roughly. From the Jamaica Contingency Fund and the National Disaster Fund, about 4.5 billion Jamaican dollars so far. From the Caribbean Catastrophe Risk Insurance CRIF, that is about US $91.9 million, or Jamaican about 14-point-something billion Jamaican dollars. And from the catastrophe bond, which we explained last week, and I'm so glad that we were able to explain it last week.
Yes.
And then we heard that it was paid out this week, which is pretty good. With us about 150 million US dollars, totaling about 24 billion Jamaican dollars. All of that makes up what we mentioned earlier, about $43.5 billion in recovery funds. But this is not only for the recovery fund aspect of things, but how it is that as a government, how persons should be held accountable, when it comes down to utilizing funds, even in your own personal lives. Let's walk through about 4 or 5 tips so far. Number one, there must be established clear allocation that everybody should be aware of, because why do you want established clear allocation? Because if for schools, for example, or for roads, or for hospitals, for example, or for food recovery, each line item should get this 10 billion, this is 2 billion, this is 3 billion. You can now hold me accountable because I was aware in the first place how much should have been spent. We can't hear that road infrastructure should have cost 10 billion will be allocated to roads. And lo and behold, the roads are not fixed, but it's only $2 billion. But when you check and you do checks and balance, you realize $10 billion may have left the coffers, but the $10 billion was spent on the roads, we don't know. So you need to have clear allocations where, how much is going to where, and that is something that the government needs to ensure that is actually happening. Number 2 is to have an independent oversight committee, an independent body. When I say independent, it should include persons of the government, obviously, persons from the opposition, civil society, the private sector, and technocrats, experts have to be on that. Because at no point in time we have the ability now to have politicians just to be the only persons giving oversight to the funds for recovery. Bear in mind that you may not have all the technical skills within a political party or within the opposition of the parties. So it is so important that we have an independent oversight committee to monitor.
Yeah, when you say technocrats though, Carlton, like what kind of technocrats?
The technical people, persons with the technical know-how and skills who are able to respond in disasters.
To say fix back the road with cement instead of gravel.
Yes, to go in this area, right?
How much a road need this amount.
So you don't want to just go in and say, all right, then I'm going to give you 10 billion for this. But you don't know if 10 billion can actually do it. Or if you give me $10 million, for example, my constituency, for hospitals, for roads, will it give us anything close to where we were? So you don't want to just pull figures out of a hat, but you want to have the technical know-how to ensure that when I give you what I'm giving you, it is able to cover at least where we need to go or head us in the right direction. That's important. Persons have mentioned, but Carlton, we already have some bodies already. And I've heard them turn around the Auditor General. I've heard people turn around the Integrity Commission. But bear in mind, these entities, generally, sometimes are after the fact, TK. You'll hear that the Auditor General who does the audit will tell us maybe next year that you know that when I check the checks and balances, the money never really spent right. That is after the fact. Or when the Integrity Commission come in now or whatever, investigator or something after the fact now, a public official, but this is what? After the fact. We want to ensure that up front, before we get down that road, we have this thing sorted out. But I've heard the government mentioned that a committee will be set up, and I'm hoping that that is established, if not yet already, and communicated to.
But then some people are asking, Carlton, but we're going to set up an oversight committee, and that's going to end up costing us more money because you have to go pay the people then. But then again, it's like, do you want to be penny wise or pound foolish? Because yes, you're going to have to pay them, but maybe their oversight and saves us millions and millions.
Exactly. But I've heard that we already have a committee in place that was not used for this, but it already have persons from maybe opposition, technocrats, etc. So maybe we could reuse some of these committees or one committee. But we'll await the final decision. Number 3, you want transparent reporting. You want frequent reporting. Every other month, every other quarter, you're getting updated reports, what has been spent. We said $10 billion on roads, we're at $7 billion. We have already rehabilitated 60% of the road network. That means the money that we now have remaining, TK, can cover what needs to be covered. But you'll get that when you are doing transparent reporting. That's important when you are assessing financial transparency and accountability. You want to look at some anti-corruption measures, put things in place. There's a procurement process in place. We need to follow the process. If there's one in place that at a time like now when you're recovering, you're doing road infrastructure development, you must have 2 bids, person must come in, you get the best quality material, the best price, we'll follow that. Because you don't want any idea. The money gone, I still don't have any roads.
And you don't get value for money too. And even if you have road, it's inferior quality. So it just puts you back, you know.
To where you're coming from.
What we need though is to do these things in a timely fashion. Because if you need 2 or 3 bids, it cannot be that you're waiting 6 weeks for the bids to come in for then the process to take on. Because we're in
crisis.
We're in crisis. It's time to move. So then it's to balance accountability and taking the right steps with also taking fast action.
Yes, with efficiency.
So, being efficacious means too that then we need to cut down on the bureaucracy because sometimes they're going back and forth and up and down and it is delaying and delay is danger and delay can end up costing you more.
At this point, especially at a point like now. But a balancing act is definitely needed because sometimes during a disaster, because we don't have the time to maybe get the 6 different bids and the 3 different bids, I may know somebody, you know somebody, and that's at the end of the day, that's where sometimes corruption comes in. Or that thin line between being efficient, but then perceived corruption may come in. So it's a balancing act, but we have to be careful. And my final thing is community engagement. We need to have a lot of community engagement at this point in time because you want to know how it is that Miss Kitty's constituency was impacted. But it's TK. Sometimes we're at this level and we're looking down, but we're not engaged with the community to find out, you know, what area of this part of this parish is mostly impacted. You know, can we mobilize this area first and then this one will trickle down to the other areas? Those are things that we have to consider. I heard on one of the press briefings and I commended the government for doing that or proposing that. Let us look at what we can in each community. Maybe to start a business where the relief aid is now stored at this particular business, which will now serve this particular community. Then we have been sending helicopters over to drop off supplies ever so often. So we'll now partner with community establishments to ensure that the process of recovery is much faster. Everybody gets involved, and we're now giving that out to maybe the technocrats to look at how it is that we create hubs across Jamaica to ensure that persons are impacted. But that's the final point I wanted to raise this morning, and for us to have our minds open and our mouths open as well to hold our government, to hold our politicians, to hold our leaders accountable, especially at a time like now where we need to get back on our feet as quickly as possible, but also, of course, do it in a very transparent way. So when it's done, my blood pressure and I gone up because I cost my politicians and I cost my government because the money gone and we don't know how, where and when. I don't want to have that done, but when persons have the know-how, let us hold people accountable. Enough money gets so far. We need some more for sure, but what we have so far can maybe kickstart the process until the loans, etc., have come in to assist us in bringing back there.
Carlton
so that's it for me. It's Carlton G Stew.
On all platforms.
On
My
all
name
platforms.
You gotta make sure
the G's
Carlton G Stew on all platforms.
Spell the stew, the stew.
S-T-E-W.
Okay.
And it's a stew plum. You
no,
understand?
No, plum.
Jane said plum it up. Good morning, Chris. Good morning. No, sir, statement pieces, I gotta tell you.
Yeah, man, you have your model on your hand.
Yes,
but thank you so much, Carlton.
Definitely.
I mean, this is important information and broken down so beautifully so everybody can understand, as always.
Yes,
so we appreciate you.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. So that was Sir Carlton G Stew, S-T-E-W, on all social media platforms, breaking down the dollars and cents behind disaster recovery in this Money Masterclass, brought to you by Guardian Group. Now, of course, there's more Sunrise coming up right after the break, so stay with us.
right, Sunrisers, thank you so very much for staying with us. Welcome back on this November 10, 2025. It's time for another Law and Order JA, brought to you by the Ministry of National Security and Peace. The question before us this morning reads as follows. Since the hurricane, some of the wholesales in my community have raised their prices on food items, saying that things are harder to get now. But I saw where the Prime Minister said raising prices after the hurricane is illegal. So my question is, what can I actually do about it? This morning with us is our, well, not resident, but one of our beloved attorneys at law, Jonathan Morgan. He's back with us to tackle the issue of price gouging. Good morning, counsel. How are you?
Good morning. Doing quite well.
Very well, sir. All right, price gouging. A lot of people have been experiencing that at different levels in the marketplace. What does the Act say about same?
Right. Well, price gouging is the sudden increase in pricing, and it's usually done sharply in response to some catalyst that has raised the demand for the things being sold. So in this case, what a number of members of the community are facing is a sudden increase on the essential items that they need during a period of disaster recovery.
Right.
If those items cannot be increased in price according to this order that has been recently put in place by the Ministry of Industry, and the Prime Minister is quite clear on the authority that it has behind it. So the order was put in place pursuant to Section 8 of the Trade Act, and the order says that anyone who is engaged in the business of retail sale of goods is not allowed to increase the price of the necessary goods during the period of disaster recovery. So this is the period that was informed by a separate order under the Declaration as to a Threatened Area order, and that order will state that during a specific window, Jamaica is declared to be a threatened area.
Yes.
And for as long as it is declared to be a threatened area, price gouging is prohibited.
So persons are saying, though, Jonathan, that, well, based on the disaster, to get the goods from point A to point B is costing me, the retailer, more. So why should I absorb that and not pass it on to the customers? Or is it that based on the order, it doesn't even matter if it is costing you more, the price should not be increased to the customer? Is that what it's saying?
Yes, I fear it is the latter. You see, in a time such as this, the most vulnerable group are the individuals in our community who need the supplies.
Yes.
The most vulnerable group are those people who've lost their homes, they've lost their roofs, their clothing has been destroyed, they've lost the capability to survive without some level of care and some level of relief.
Yes.
In that type of situation, the demand for essential goods like clothing, food items, medical supplies, personal items, and so on has increased because the destruction has caused the marketplace to require more from the suppliers. When the demand increases, there are some individuals who legitimately have a concern about transportation and the supply of those goods, and those individuals may wish to increase pricing. But there are other individuals who have no concern, and they are simply capitalizing on the needs of the public.
Right.
They're capitalizing on that increased demand. So in order to level the playing field, the government has put in place a blanket order that the goods and the pricing of those goods shall not be increased during this period. And that is across the board, even if there are transportation or logistics concerns by certain players.
And again, as you said, it includes food, medical supplies, clothing, because some people might think it only applies to, say, for example, ground provision. So in the market, your cabbage or your carrots or your sweet pepper, it's in the supermarket, it's everywhere. I've also noticed that some of the entities have also put out, notices that there have been no increases on their part, because some persons take advantage of what is happening to say, well, I went to X place and they raised their prices on me, so that is why I'm raising it on you. And some of these entities have come out and put out a notice to say that we have not raised our prices, therefore you should not pay anything in excess at all. There is no need for that. that. But you're saying, Jonathan, that this order, as put out by the Ministry of Industry, based on what the Prime Minister has promulgated, is saying that no price increase straight across the board, whether market, whether uptown or downtown.
Well, almost across the board, there are certain exceptions to the rule, but it does apply to any and all food item or drink item or items used for that purpose. So it means both cooked food, items being sold across a counter, as well as ingredients in a supermarket, in a wholesale. But there are some exceptions under the sugar industry legislation, the agriculture produce legislation. These are regulated by separate pieces of legislation, so they're not governed by this order.
Right.
But certainly the items you tend to receive in a supermarket, in a wholesale, in a shop on the corner, those items are likely to be covered.
Covered under that. What about those persons, Jonathan, who raise it anyway? Because you know some Jamaicans, I'm lucky. That is say, you're lucky, may I do my thing. What consequences or penalties can they face if they go in contravention of this order?
Yes, so the order makes price gouging an offence during this time, and on summary conviction before a resident magistrate, it can lead to a fine up to 1 million Jamaican dollars. So that fine has an upper limit, but since it doesn't have a lower limit, it applies according to the discretion of the judge.
Right.
So the judge may find that your situation, if you are a simple corner shop and you're trying to survive and you can prove that you had a real transportation concern, it may still be an offense to raise your pricing, but the judge may exercise his or her discretion and give the smallest fine. But if you are a large supermarket or a large wholesale and you've increased prices across the board, you can produce no legitimate explanation for the judge, you're likely to get the higher side of the fine.
Which is up to
a million Jamaican dollars. Yes.
In terms of reporting it, how can customers protect ourselves from price gouging? Do we send it where? Do we do what? How can we protect ourselves?
Well, the first thing would be to ensure you've gathered evidence to support what you suspect is happening.
Okay.
And that evidence can take the form of receipts before the order was put in place on October 24th and receipts after you've noticed the price increase.
Yes.
Those receipts being compared with each other for the same purchased items would be evidence of price gouging. You can also speak to members of the community to gather information as to their experience attempting to purchase goods from the same place. Once the evidence is gathered, since it is now a statutory offense, it means they can go to the police. They can file a complaint on the basis that this particular business has increased their price in violation of this trade order.
Very well. And this is also applicable to what we call mom and pop stores, corner shops as well.
It is.
Because sometimes they think that only the big supermarket there, but them big people there, you know, we're down here, it does not apply to us. It's applicable to them as well.
It is. So it certainly applies across the board. The severity of the action and the size of the operation may influence the fine imposed, but still you can get yourself in some hot water despite the size of your business.
Where can persons go and read this trade order so that they have it on hand and familiarize themselves with it?
Yes, so it is available on government websites. A simple search as to the Tropical Storm Melissa Trade Order 2025 should pull it up on Google. And you can find it and go through the details with some insight. It's not a very long order, so they certainly would be able to read it through.
Very well. Thank you so very much. And I'm quite sure that your introduction, how you articulated it, when they're reading it, they say, oh, that Jonathan did I talk about? Okay. Thank you so much, Council, for always being here and for elucidating and, of course, articulating it in a way that we can all understand.
My pleasure.
Thank you so very much. That was Jonathan Morgan, partner at Don Cox Attorneys at Law, clarifying what's legal and what's not when it comes to post-hurricane pricing. Now, that's check-in, and we want you to always check up and make sure you have your receipt. Keep them near and dear to you and close to you. And I'm asking people, please refrain from price gouging. We don't need that at this time. It's time to check in with TK at the news desk.
Welcome to Morning News. I'm TK Dawkins. More aid is coming for Jamaica and other Caribbean neighbors impacted by Hurricane Melissa days ago. European Union Commissioner for Equality, Preparedness and Crisis Management, Haja Labib, announced that €2 million will be donated to Jamaica and Cuba each, and $1 million to Haiti for post-hurricane relief. More in this report.
A grateful Jamaican government as the EU Commissioner for Equality, Preparedness and Crisis Management, Ms. Haja Labib, visited the island following the passage of the deadly Category 5 storm recently. Minister of Efficiency, Innovation and Digital Transformation, Ambassador Audrey Marks, joined the delegation from the EU in a media briefing Sunday, reminding locals the EU has been a very present help in Jamaica's troubles.
They were on the scene very early, and it's several countries so far of the EU delegation that they are here, they are on the ground, they are delivering support in the areas of greatest need: field hospitals, generators, logistical tracking systems, and every type of supply that is needed by the most hard-hit communities in the parishes that are quite devastated at this time. We expect not to move from rescue and relief to rebuilding, and the partnership will continue throughout this process.
The EU Commissioner, in commending the Jamaican government and people for their efforts and resilience, notes plans to share €5 million among Jamaica, Cuba and Haiti after the storm.
The EU has also mobilized €5 million in emergency funding to meet the most urgent needs, and this includes €2 million for Jamaica, $2 million for Cuba and $1 million for Haiti, to help families rebuild, restore basic services and recover their livelihood. And also today, I'm pleased to announce an additional €1,250,000 to support the Red Cross response in Cuba and Jamaica. This includes funding to combat the outbreak of arboviruses in Cuba.
Ms. Labib notes this support as EU solidarity at its best, a partnership worthy of this sort of care and input.
So far, 64 tons have already been distributed. Of course, the situation is very complex. Many areas are still hard to reach, but our partners are doing their best to deliver aid fast, like water, food, shelter, and basic services for those who lost everything. To conclude, I have to say that this is European solidarity at its best. France standing together when it matters most. We will keep working side by side with authorities, with you, dear ministers, with EU member states and our humanitarian partners on the ground.
The hurricane has seen extensive destruction across St. Elizabeth and Western Jamaica, with over 30 casualties so far.
Motorists are being advised that toll charges have resumed as of today, Monday, following a temporary suspension due to Hurricane Melissa. The authorities issued the statement on Sunday advising of the change. The resumption affects all major toll roads across the island, including the east-west and north-south corridors. Commuters are being urged to plan accordingly and ensure they have sufficient funds or electronic tags for smooth passage. Toll operators also remind drivers to observe posted speed limits and safety guidelines as cleanup efforts continue in some areas. Students at the College of Agriculture, Science and Education in Portland are struggling to return home after Hurricane Melissa devastated several communities, particularly in Western Jamaica. Some say their families have lost homes and belongings, making the journey back even more difficult. Kevin Black has this report.
My mom is left without a home. She's currently staying with my aunt.
Days after Hurricane Melissa tore across Jamaica, students at the College of Agriculture, Science and Education in Portland are facing a new kind of uncertainty. Many who board here say they simply can't get home, especially those from the island's hard-hit western parishes.
I couldn't get to go down due to her saying I should stay here because it's more safer here, and she was indeed correct because the roof of her home is gone, and I still can't go down because there isn't any space or anywhere I could stay or suffer it. I am left heartbroken due to everything that we have lost and how far I've come, and now I have to start all over, but I'm giving God thanks that I am alive and well.
The Category 5 hurricane left a trail of destruction, many homes without roofs, roads blocked, and communities cut off. Now these students are waiting for word on when it will be safe to return home.
The roof is gone and most of the items in the house is wet. I would need assistance in materials in like building back the roof.
Amid the uncertainty, support has been growing. Donors from across Portland have been delivering food, supplies, and personal items to students whose families were impacted, offering relief as they wait for the all clear.
We want to thank our case family for going above and beyond to get our donors here today to support our students who were affected by Hurricane Melissa. Now, if you want to give a donation to our case students, you can contact us at publicrelations@case.edu.gm, or you can call us at
876-423-9582.
The college administration says it's working to coordinate safe travel with students stuck in Western Jamaica. Kevin Black reporting for CVM News.
To sport now, New Zealand defeated the West Indies by 9 runs to take a 2-1 advantage in their 5-match T20 series on Sunday in Auckland. The home team, batting first, scored 177 for 9 off their allotted overs, and then dismissed the West Indies for 166 from 19.5 overs. We have some of the highlights. We'll bring those highlights for you at another time. That's it for Morning News. Join us again at noon for more from our news and sports desk. I'm TK Dawkins. Sunrise continues after this. Welcome back with us, Sunrisers, and we hope you are feeling well this morning and that you're getting better and better with each segment that we bring to you right here from Sunrise. Now, in this Monday morning checkup, we're slowing down and checking in on our minds.
Absolutely.
Counseling psychologist at the Phoenix Counseling Center, Dr. Patrice Charles King, joins us to unpack the mental and emotional toll of disaster fatigue and to share practical ways to stay informed without being consumed. Good morning, Dr. Charles King.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Well, and I see you're smiling brightly, and it's looking good. Yes. And we're very happy to see it, and we need you right now, especially at a time like this when there's such widespread concern, heaviness, and the consumption of, media that's showing us disaster after disaster after disaster area. Tell us, what can you tell us about the mental state and how we can start taking care of ourselves in this time?
Shut it down. Shut it down. I know that we have a natural tendency to just want to see and hear everything that is going on. But you have to also remember that a lot of things that we're seeing on social media are individuals that are creating content for themselves, for their likes, to monetize it. And yes, unfortunately, we do have individuals that are doing that at someone else's expense, especially now. So I think stepping back from it, allowing ourselves to just breathe and just not expose ourselves to just a continuous social media posts is something that, I think that we can do for ourselves, because what can happen is just the constantly seeing just the danger and the disaster that everyone is going through, their pain. It can create what we call a vicarious trauma response. So even though we are physically safe, even though we are emotionally safe, our bodies register that distress. And it's just the emotional residue that comes from seeing other people or witnessing another person's pain. So that's what that is.
Well, the secondary trauma is definitely real, because many of us are actually experiencing it as we speak. And I, for one, I have definitely just shut it down. I've just come off because it is taking a toll on me. Because when you see the level of devastation and suffering, it's only human to feel for your fellow Jamaican, right? But let me ask you this though, Doc. For persons like us here in the media, who we go through it daily, police officers, first responders, frontline workers who are immersed in the trauma, both physically, emotionally, and otherwise, just by the nature of their job, how can they help to galvanize themselves? How can they help to, galvanize their mental capacity and mental well-being based on the fact that they are immersed in it every day?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that they can't avoid. And just like what you said, secondary trauma is a very real thing. But what happens over time, especially for first responders, for journalists, like you said, that constant exposure can wear down a person's emotional resilience. And so what happens is you become desensitized. And you're desensitized not because you don't care. I think you become desensitized because you are trying to protect yourself. So you create like that emotional distance between you and whatever that thing is, just to protect yourself. So what happens, that something else that can happen is compassion fatigue.
Yes.
Where you still care deeply, but you feel empty or powerless to make a difference. And it's just one of those things that if you don't handle it, what you find is those first responders, those journalists, it can lead to burnout, it can lead to depression. And so I think one of the things that's so important, especially for journalists, is debriefing counseling. Just rest periods it's also important for frontline workers. But just have a debriefing counseling. How did this affect you? What are you feeling about this? And just create that separation between the reality of the situation and the perception that the person is actually feeling.
Doc, how can you tell the difference? How can you know that you've reached the point of burnout, whether as an emergency worker or even just someone who's consuming the information? What signs can make me know, you know what? I think I'm getting to that point where I need to step back.
Yes.
What will tell me that?
Well, I think one of the easiest things to notice is just the change in emotion. So irritability, withdrawal, difficulty sleeping, just a constant sense of dread. Just, this hypervigilance around something is going to happen to you. So people begin to feel detached. Some people start reacting emotionally to news, to sad news, or they just avoid connecting to others because they don't want any form of emotional connection. And then you have those that experience the complete opposite. So you have those that detach, but then you have those that begin to cry easy, feel overwhelmed, have panic-like symptoms. And so physically, it can show up as headaches, muscle tension,
acid reflux,
the back across the shoulders. Yes, acid reflux, chronic fatigue, and emotionally just a loss of joy, feeling loss of the things that once felt meaningful. They just now feel like they're a burden. So those are just some of the very easy things to look out for.
I've heard persons, Doc, say that they are suffering from or they're feeling survivor's guilt, They feel like, wow, I'm in my home, this person doesn't have a home. They're feeling so guilty for having survived or having their, luxuries in life then, and the other people don't have it. How can persons define survivor's guilt for me, and how can persons deal with that and not blame themselves for their situation?
Well, I think you just defined it pretty well. I mean, it's again similar to that secondary trauma when you're the one that you survived, as you said, and I think it's when most people believe that they feel like they're hopeless. They can't do anything based on what they're seeing. They feel guilty because this individual, they are from the same community, they look like them, and so there is that relatedness, and they find it difficult to separate what they see from what they're experiencing, and they feel bad about it. Sometimes I wonder if individuals, especially now in this situation that we're in, with the communities out in the western part of Jamaica, you see so many people going out there, and I wonder why they have to take their phones with them. In other words, they have to be on camera creating content or videos to show everyone else that they're out there helping. And I often wonder if it is a way of reassuring themselves that, hey, see, I want everyone else to know that I am helping so that I don't feel guilty about not helping, or I don't feel guilty about not doing more than I can actually do. So it's something that in that secondary trauma, that indirect trauma, that survivor's guilt is definitely something that we need to look out for, because it can create negative thoughts about about not helping in the manner in which we should be helping. It can also create those negative thoughts about self-doubt. I'm not doing well enough. There must be something wrong with me. I'm not good enough. And your brain absorbs all of that emotional guilt, and then you act it out. So.
Well, Doc, speaking of helping, you mentioned, feelings, people isolating themselves, people getting even physical illness based on the emotions of the time. I'm a mother, or I'm a friend, or, I'm looking and seeing my child displaying some of these things. I'm no psychologist, Doc, but I want to help that person. What can I, as a regular person, just in this person's life, what can I do to help when I notice these things in them?
First, ask if they're okay, and ask if you can help. And stay involved, listen without judgment, allow that individual to express their feelings. And of course, if it's your child, it's an age-appropriate communication that is going to take place. A lot of times you have to be so careful of not diminishing or dismissing someone who's trying to express themselves, someone who may have a friend or may see something on social media and you say, oh, you're all right. What are you getting upset about? Look at where you're sleeping. And you just kind of like dismiss everything that they want to express. I think the other thing that's important is creating a safe space for individuals to come and speak. And even if they don't want to talk, just creating a safe space, a space where there's control. So for children, routines are important, especially during this chaotic time, trying to maintain routines for your children. And again, most importantly, routines that create a controlled structure would be also very important at this time.
Doc, I know persons probably are thinking also about now going to see somebody, a therapist, you know. Some persons might be a bit apprehensive, like, oh my God, I want to go talk to somebody, but I'm scared. I don't know who to trust. I want a professional because I don't want to self-diagnose, or I don't want, you know, the persons who are not trained to tell me what to do necessarily. I want to go to someone who is trained, a professional, to sit and talk. Where can persons reach out to? Who are people that we need to probably say, you know what, I need to see someone?
Very important. Yes, so psychologists, and we have psychologists that are trained in trauma counseling, grief counseling, and JAM Psych, which is the Psychology Association. You can just get online if you can, and they have a list of psychologists that are licensed and registered, and you can also see what the different specialties are or the areas that they are working in. And that's the best way to Google also. Okay. Is also a very good way of finding a psychologist. And you're absolutely right, because when you find a psychologist, you have to be able to connect to that person in order for them to help you. So yes, but there are many of us that are out there that specialize in trauma counseling.
And what about yours? What about Phoenix Counseling Services? How do we reach out?
At the Phoenix Counseling Center.
How do we reach out there?
Well, we are online on Instagram at the Phoenix Counseling Center. And I think it's also very easy to contact me on WhatsApp at 876-868-3290. And just send a WhatsApp message and I'll give you the link in order to make an appointment.
Wonderful. Awesome. Doc, any final tips you'd like to leave with us this morning? Because trust me, this is a very heavy time. Many of us are going through this for the very first time. So this is uncharted territory. So we're like, we don't even know how to respond, how to act, or what to do. Is there any other tip you'd like to leave with us that can help us cope a little better in this situation?
Just know, for the first responders, for the journalists that's keeping everyone informed, understand that staying informed is very important, yes, but staying well is essential. So you can't help to rebuild the world if you're emotionally collapsing inside of it. So sometimes the most responsible thing is to just step back and breathe and return with a clearer, stronger mind.
I like that. Thank you so much, Doc. And we wish you and your family all the best as well. And to everybody at the Phoenix
Counseling Center,
thank you for all that you do, because you guys are very necessary.
I just wanted to let you know, before you go, we are offering free counseling sessions for anyone that has been emotionally affected by Hurricane Melissa. They just have to get in contact with me at the Phoenix Counseling Center.
Oh, nice.
That's wonderful.
I was going to ask about that.
100% free until the end of the year for Hurricane Melissa victims.
First thing that you should have told me, man.
A round of applause for Dr. Charles.
That's really awesome.
Thank you so very much, Doc. Because again, you know, Doc, some people, they want the counseling, they want somebody to speak to, but they can't afford it, you know? Yeah. So this is quite wonderful and thoughtful of you. Thank you so very much. And we'll definitely put that out there, and so persons can reach out to the Phoenix Counseling Center.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Doc. Many, many thanks to our wonderful and beautiful guest, Dr. Patrice Charles King, for checking in with us this morning for our mental health checkup, or morning checkup, and to all those journalists, to all those frontline workers, every nurse, every doctor, every police officer, every soldier, everybody who is out there working hard to keep the country going, keeping the people going. We send you all love, we send you prayers, we send you strength, to every teacher, to everybody who is on the front line, to all our aid workers.
Working in the shelters.
Yeah, working in the shelters, you know, everybody, and all the persons as well who have have been going down to these affected areas to donate, to give relief efforts. You know, we want to just send you guys love and strength at this time, and trust to make God is able. So big up on a nice clean self. Thank you for all you do. Remember, mental health is also an important part of the recovery process. And as we care for others, we can't forget to care for ourselves. Remember, as they tell you on the airplane, remember to put your mask on first before you help others. All right, there's more Sunrise right after this break, so please stay with us. Oh, wow. Celebrating even at a time like this. Good morning to everybody celebrating their birthday this morning, their anniversary. Good morning to you. And I know you're like, oh my God, why does Tommy have to come in on my birthday? Oh my God, you know. And it seems like that's all we can talk about. But, you know, two things can be true at the same time. So we're compassionate and we're worried about others and we're trying to care for them. But we're also celebrating our wins, your birthdays, you know, your graduation, if your child is doing well in school, if you got a promotion, if you're in love, you know, if you're getting married. I gotta tell you, we still have to laugh. Smile a while and give your face a rest. Raise your hands to the one you love the best. Then shake hands with those nearby and greet them with a smile. You see that? I'm if tell you. Love no can't done. Don't get me started. Heading to the skies though, and it's not only humans have been affected, adversely affected, TK, but our animals have also been affected by Hurricane Melissa. And it's not just our homes, it's not just the communities, you know, the wildlife homes and their communities, because we forget to say them are family too, you know, ants are family. You know, growing up I never used to like killing animals at all, because I always think that could be an ant's mother, that could be an ant's father, and I didn't want my mother or father to die, so I didn't want to kill any any animals.
I was like that too.
You see like how some people will drive down upon a dog deliberately and kill it. Me not like them something there. Because I'm like, that's somebody's mom. Like she has kids, you know?
Yeah.
And for me, thinking about the birds, thinking about the bees, the flowers and the trees, you know, thinking about the animals, especially those endemic birds who have lost their food sources.
Yeah.
They have no homes, they have no food, their nesting habitats, everything is also disrupted for them. And I remember seeing a video, TK, where a young lady, she had like 3 little birds on her, and one of them, you could see that the bird was so, you know, just scared and out of it.
Yeah.
He was hiding under her collar, and just seeing that made me cry so much, because I said bird not too the human, you know, they're not really too, you understand?
Like fly away.
But when they are the birds were like clutching to her, it really definitely broke my heart. And so I said, you know what, we need the best of the best. We need somebody who knows. We need somebody who is knowledgeable. And so wildlife biologist and assistant lecturer in the Department of Life Sciences at the UWI Mona campus, Damian White, joins us this morning to share what conservationists are seeing on the ground and why protecting our feathered friends is an actual essential part of the national recovery. Damian, good morning and welcome to Sunrise. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, how are the animals doing?
Well, the animals are not doing so good, especially in the, well, I should say in the west, but also in the east too, that has also got the hurricane.
Yeah.
And what we have seen, just imagine, as you said before, many people have lost their homes, their roof, and all of that, and now have to move in trying to get water and stuff. It's the same thing for the animals. The day before the hurricane, the place was green. When you check the vegetation, you saw fruits. You saw like the orchids blooming and flowers. You go back now in areas like Cockpit Country, I can't recognize the place, there's no leaves. There's no fruits. And when you see that happen, you see birds doing stuff that they normally don't do. So I was in the community Aberdeen, people telling me that they see some of the parrots, as I put it, Jamaica have 3 species, flying to their home. I was on a bee farm where they were packing up some boxes, and the parakeet was on the ground eating some grass straw or even eating cane. And from the year as a farmer there, nobody have seen something like that. And then another thing is, a lot of people have been sharing videos from home. So for example, in St. James, some of the yard, the trees remain, and people are saying that they have seen birds that they have never seen before.
So the birds are also in survival mode?
Yes, they're in survival mode. They're looking for food, they're looking for water. And during this, we ask people, don't take the opportunity to catch, because we see videos already, people checking that opportunity to catch. One guy caught over 20 of our parakeets, and I tell you, several of them died because he didn't know what he was doing. And all that what was on his mind was to go and sell it. So distressed animals looking for help, and that's where you're going. Just sad.
And that's the birds, you know, of course the trees were impacted, leaves are gone and things like that. But what about maybe like reptiles, you know, them used to being chuck up under something.
Right.
How are they doing?
Well, okay, so the reptiles too. So the lizard, the big green lizard, where some of us might shake here. We have seen videos where
they still had a home.
They have a home in the forest. And just imagine that big green lizard who normally would hide in the leaves can now be seen easy. And now
So
it's being seen, they're exposed and predators can get it. And he's also looking for food. Because remember, in our whole ecosystem, you know, the trees are there, insect lives on those leaves, the birds come and eat it. So if there's no leaf there, the insect number gone down. And when you check people again, they're saying that they're seeing bees, a lot of bees showing up at their house now. So when they put out feeders, the bees and them are frightened. And some of our reptile friends again, like our crocodiles, number of them got displaced in rivers and drain, and now the water coming down. And since I'm here, I'm telling people, don't go in the river trying to catch a crocodile or in a drain where it's not affected. Several people are trying to
do it.
Nobody not doing that.
We have crocodile done there in Jamaica?
We have people going in areas where the crocodile is not troubling you. And just think about it. There's a lot of the wildlife people right now who family are there going through stress. And when you go down in that drain or river, maybe you can get hurt, or we have to come get a vehicle and all of that. It takes a lot of resources to do it. So if it's not troubling anyway, leave it alone.
Well, if you got trouble, and the crocodile never trouble, you say anything you get, you just take that.
Right.
You understand? If you know, you know. You get where the duck get and it's not water. Yeah, you just stay. Yeah, right there, because that's just crazy.
That's crazy.
I like that you mentioned about the rivers and the displacement, though, Damien. For some persons who want to go to rivers now or go to beaches, what would you advise in terms of, what to look out for? Because now that the animals are displaced, is it possible, c'est possible, they could be displaced in these rivers?
Well, I don't want to scare people, but a lot of the places
tell me.
The reality, there are several areas in Jamaica that a lot of us go that have crocodiles that might be shy. And what I know what people don't, most of our stuff are very shy. If there were as menacing as many people say, you'd see a lot. However, on that, if people go to some of the areas where they know crocodiles normally, like in Black River, the water is now turbid, or some of these areas, beware. Check before you go into some of these waters. But on the other hand, no reports, you can go there. Most of the impact of the hurricane in terms of the water getting turbid has gone. So most of the system has been clearer. But in areas where there, when you tie a goat, do the same thing, make noise, don't tie it near the riverbank. One of the things that we like to do, throw chicken guts and stuff in areas that crocodile, they are hungry. So if people can be swimming in an area, don't bother be throwing guts and all that to
attract them.
Attract the predator there.
Well, you need to just swim in your bed right now, you understand? Just swim around. Yeah, just go to your bed and just go so. You understand? Just work with that. But one of the things, so from the sea to the river to the sky now,
right?
Because there's been an inquiry about the John Crows. Okay, the John Crows.
Right.
As to whether the John Crows can help with the cleanup, of carcasses in many of these areas. We know that the vultures usually, come and pick up dead meat and go away with it. Is it plausible? Is there any merit in that request or that idea?
Okay, so I know the conversation everybody talking to, and I must confess I did speak to Zara before she mentioned it. What a number of people don't know, there have been cases where people have moved vultures. For example, move them, yes. In India.
Into areas, you mean?
Okay.
In India, in the 1900s, there was a chemical that they used to treat painkillers to cows.
Yes.
And when the cows died, the vultures there would eat it. And it destroyed their kidney, and several thousand died. Some of the species up to 90%. What happened after that? There was an influx in disease. Because what the vulture do is eat the carrion to stop the spread of disease, one. And second thing is, when they were gone, dogs came in, start eating it, but they couldn't do a good clear-up job, and then rabies went. And they estimated in the 1900s, about 100,000 people died indirectly. So there are some cases of that up front. The conversation that's going on right now is good, because one thing we notice, we don't know what's going on with our vultures.
So when you see them?
Yeah. You see them, like in Kingston, you see them on the telephone poles, you see them on some wire, and people just have it said drunker.
Yeah.
But one of the things we were checking after the hurricane, how many if impacted them. What they do, they would go in this area and clean up a lot of the carrion much better than us.
Yes.
And that carrion that they clean up is what stop a lot of us from getting
disease,
sick. I'm not saying that we should catch and go carry vultures to an area, but what we can do is protect some of the areas where we know them nest. They nest on cliffside, some in cave, and they like big trees. Some people don't, they like forests.
Yes.
So if you can do yourself in protecting their habitat and nesting and roosting site, you will do better in keeping the population safe. So like right now, where we have so much carrion away, they are nature's best cleaner.
Yes.
And now people talk about them, because when people send picture now and a joke, we the scientists know a record where we see it, how many of them there.
Right.
It's a sad thing though, we weren't doing population surveys before.
Because, I'm happy you said that to me, because to me it seemed like there was a decline in the jonker population.
Yes.
Because I remember at one point, you used to see a lot of jonkers, in even like the gullies or certain places.
Yeah.
We don't really see jonker again. Me say jonker gets tush. So jonker I'll get it, but don't get the gully again.
Yeah, and I was doing a project that wasn't nice. I was like on the highway when we saw road kills.
Yeah.
We take pictures. So, when sad to say, when a dog dead on the road,
Yeah.
they come down, they are very clumsy flyer and they get hit. A lot of them die that way. So one of the good things though with with what happened is there's a lot of discussion going on, and we now need, as I said before, even to know what's going on with them, because right now, when they go in some areas, because I've been helping people doing surveys, the place smells bad.
Yes.
It stinks
Yeah.
of dead animal.
So why can't we just move the junkers right now, though, into some of these areas? Would you be opposed to that? Would that be, no?
Well, here the thing is, when the storm there come, they know it's a storm will come and they move.
Them gone.
Yes.
Right, and what they do is slowly come back.
Gotcha.
Plus, an area normally have what we call carrying capacity, like how much the population can be in that area normally. So, for example, before the storm, if the area have 10 junker, the 10 junker was sustained by how much animals were there.
Yes, yes.
So you're not going to get 100 going come back. The 10 going come back
Gotcha.
and that. However, in case, as I said before, it's not about the government going to catch.
Yes.
But we're doing what we can do
to siphon them there.
To siphon and also protect their habitat, and more of them will come in.
Gotcha.
But they play a very important role. And what we call junker, the Americans in other countries, they call it turkey vulture.
Okay.
We're not related to the turkey though.
On the cusp of Thanksgiving, Damien, thank you for saying that part. You know,
so Damien, we're focused on sending relief packages and waters and things to people. What about the animals? Is there anything that we can do in even our small way to help with the recovery?
Okay. So there are two things that we need to do. So in the recovery part, one of the things we need to do is document what happened so we can make changes. So that's why we ask people to take pictures, video, anything else is strange, send it to NEPA, or you can send it to Roosters World JA. That's how we document what's going on.
Yeah.
On the relief part now, when we get that information now, we have groups like Bird Caribbean, we have the vet groups and that coming down now, helping with the animals. We're getting carried on some feeders and some hummingbird feeders for the birds.
Yeah.
However, quick thing with the hummingbird feeders, if you're not clean or don't follow the rules, don't do it. Because if you use the wrong sugar, if you use syrup, you can sit the bird.
Yes.
So if you're going to sit the bird, if you can't do it, just don't
do it. Yeah.
What's the right sugar?
The right sugar is granulated sugar.
Granulated sugar.
For hummingbirds.
For the hummingbird feeder, and it's 1 to 4. 1 part to 4 part
sugar,
water.
4 parts water.
Right. And you normally have it out there for 4 days, and because Jamaica is hot, if you see the mixture get cloudy after 4 days, throw it away, wash it good with soap, and because the birds get sick.
Right.
And I beg, one of the things I'm begging the people who are selling the birds, like catching the parakeet, catching our endemic parrots, which are already threatened if we not do something. Just at this time, nobody, they on TikTok I sell, mommy bear I sell on the roadside.
And don't buy it.
Don't buy it.
Don't buy it.
Don't buy it. I report
because
it.
If you don't have a buyer, them have to let them go. And not only are we not going to buy it, we're going to report you. Don't do it.
Right. Because I'm bear facing on the highway. I said, this is just cruel. So we're getting feeders and some of the groups sending, as I said, information on how, and also everybody can be citizen science. Anything you see going on, bird a fight, owl show up at your yard, whatever it is, just let us know. If you see an injured bird, reach out to NEPA. As I said, reach out to Roosters, you can reach out to Hope Zoo. We'll come and help.
Because so if you see a crocodile,
NEPA, Roosters World JA. Roosters World JA.
Right. So anything where you see, even the lizard when we hear,
like, I was just about to say, what you call strange? Because if what would I be reporting? Like what?
I mean, yesterday a friend of mine reported a bat came in her room. And she took a picture, I know what species was in it. And she pulled the door and let it out.
Like a big duppy bat?
No, a real bat. Okay, so what Jamaica call rat bat is a bat in the other countries. And what we call duppy bat is a moth. And
no, David, a duppy bat.
And last thing.
Are your granny or somebody come? David, understand what I said.
And before the hurricane, how we know there's something there going, we had 4 cases of yellow snakes showing up at people's window. Like them there hide.
What?
Yeah. What nobody drop down? Yeah, man, we call one snaky. We went. Yes, man. Jeez. Our snakes are not poisonous and nobody ball on Jesus.
What do you mean?
Yeah, it was a sweet snake and a beautiful.
A sweet snake.
Here, Damien.
It says a sweet snake.
Yeah, man. You know how hard them for find? Boy, you know me wish I might win that snake come. So we have to talk to the people. And they you know.
Baby, can you lock the window, please?
Yeah. That too.
Lock up the arm.
And if a girl wants to come, you know, take the little broom and push them out. So those stuff, like things like that, we just encourage people to do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But I like that we take care of I love that we're having this discussion.
Yeah.
Because our animals are are an important part of the ecosystem.
Yes.
And an important part of our life.
And there's some people who believe that we Jamaicans don't care for animals. We love with animals.
Yes.
I grew up and call my grandfather loved him and the bird, him cuss, him and the pig. That we love our animals.
True.
And everybody going through it. I know some people were cussing, say, why you out there help the animals? And I was helping both.
Yes.
But when I'm helping the animals and I go somewhere, I'm going to see how people out there are going. I spend more money and help people. But I have to help the animals. So I'm asking everybody, we can help in any way we can.
So Damien, quick question. On this, probably Roosters World, JA, or any site, right?
Yeah.
Do you have like an outline of, okay, if you want to help dogs, do this. If you want to help birds, you can do this. So we have rules that we can, okay, so Damien said, 1 part sugar to 4 water, okay? Put it in so on. So, you know what I mean? So the instructions.
Right, we have that. NEPA started.
Okay.
However, we know a number of people like follow different social media. So what we do now, we have groups like Bird Carrier and Bird Life Jamaica, which is our group, Hope Zoo. We're all putting this information and we pass it through different groups. So whether you are Bird Life, Hope, whatever, we're going to put it out there. Because many people are asking this question. What if we do with bees, what if we do with birds, etc.
Leptospirosis, I hear, is on the rise, Damien.
Yes. And that will be on the rise too, because we have the stagnant water. We have some wildlife, we have stuff like rats. With so much food down now, rats population will go up. So just be careful. And as I'm telling people, and you know, I deal with wildlife, but when you go to some of the areas and you say everybody I wash, drink, and I do everything in the same water, you get very worried. And I'm a biologist worried. So I'm just trying to say, we love our animals, and we do all that we can produce our animal, protect our forests. We love our people.
By the way, talking about the forest, Damien, the trees look as if there was some acid or somebody with a torch torched them. Should we be replanting trees now? If yes, what kind? And how can we help to repopulate our forest and get our flora and fauna back up where it needs to be?
Okay, so the good thing is, Forestry Department have already explained, and as I said, the trees look brown, the wind.
Yeah, man.
The wind tear
Scorch
it up.
it,
Right. One of the things, one of my colleagues is going to be presenting at the university this Thursday. He reported on some of the trees that fall on the campus, and what we found out was what we call invasive species, tree species. So one of them called donkey peepee. A lot of these plants are not. I don't mean name them. We just give the local name because if I come out and say Spatodia, a lot of people not them. But we use a local name. Some of these plants are not Jamaican plants, and they were taking over our forest. Them grow fast, but them soft. So when the breeze come blow, they gone over. And we start seeing that some of our native plants, some of the palm, hold true. So we find out now that our native plants know to hold up, and some of them are buried. There's this thing where all the people always say, boy, we know you want plant there because it take too long to grow. But you see them hold true. So what we do now is document which plants survive, which is our local. And then we try and encourage different groups to print out local stuff. So we're going to be putting out information on that. I always say local, the league don't invite them stand up. Enough for the palm them down in the area stand up. And even when the top gone, the fruits are there where the birds can get. So we have to try and plant more local stuff because they have evolved to deal with hurricanes. And just remember that, I don't want to say it, but this is not going to be our first dance. We have to learn how to deal with it. So all the information we can get with the impact of Melissa now, in terms of what happened to the animals, what happened to the tree, help guide what we do next.
In the future.
Yes, and the question that we're going to be putting out information on the local plants to plant. If we keep on to think that it takes so long to grow, what can happen to the next generation? Because they stand up by providing shelter, food. Now you go out, people ask, boy, I see a place I've never seen before. And before I close, I remember going to Westmoreland and carry some ladies to do some, to help us, and they were trying to find a bathroom. Because there were no bathroom. And they were not most bush, the trail, everything gone, everything exposed now. So something like that or a shade.
I was about to say, I'm sure so many people would love some shade
Some
right
shade
now.
now.
Just a shade of
So
a
now we
tree.
understand the value of our, and even the river coming down, those trees play a role in making the water.
Absolutely.
So
and those trees play a role in breaking the wind as well.
Breaking the wind, protect, yes. So all I'm saying now, we're having all of this conversation, and we can do better, and we can use this information to guide. And I tell everybody, going out there, because I'm going out there doing monitoring bats, birds, all the animals, see what's going on with it. But when I'm out there, I still have to help the people. And I just tell you, when you go out there, you have to strong. I still have to see the beauty in it, because if I don't see it, I collapse.
Yeah.
And
I'm glad that you're bringing that beauty and bringing this information to us at this time, because we can get very focused on the humans. And humans are very important, but so is the wildlife. So thank you very much.
And the last thing I would tell also my fellow scientists, colleagues, find time to come and talk to the people about what's going on. Because if you don't do, there's a lot of misinformation going out. Talk to the people, talk simple. Come out so people can understand. Because in the whole thing, because one of the last thing when I go out there, I see people already attacking their houses. And some of them not strong. I see a guy spraying for termite and he mixing up chemicals like ticks wash and some dangerous stuff and not protecting himself. And they're doing it because nobody don't have time to wait. We need to have some of these conversations. Because when I look at him and tell him, say, boy, you know this can affect you. And him say, yeah. And I tell him, say, can affect your manhood. Him start, oh my God. I'm start taking it serious.
Damian, you know what we need to do? We need to invite you back or somebody else so that you can really tell us these things. And we'll be glad to have you back for that information.
Damian love him work. I'm not telling like Damian catch a yellow snake.
You can't tell.
Like
if you want the snake, then him
like
love it.
It's not work, it's pleasure.
It's not work, it's pleasure.
Based on how Damian talk, like if me really brave that with it, but I catch a yellow snake or
gold. You can't come with me while I'm there.
When you do, show them. It's not going to bring him coming here. That was Damian White, wildlife biologist and assistant lecturer in the Department of Life Sciences at the UWI Mona campus, representing for the birds, the bees, and the John Crows. John Crows are important too.
TK said John Crows.
In John Crows, we're giving it proper to you here in Sunrise Earth. So we'll be right back. Thanks, Damian.
Thanks, Damian.
And that's all the time that we have for this morning sunrise. We want to say a huge, huge, huge thank you to you, our viewers, and for rising and staying with us all morning. Plus, happy birthday to, is that Nisa Salmon? I hope so. Celebrating her birthday today, coming from your cousin Renee, your mom, dad, brothers, the rest of the family. Continue to be the bright spark you are.
Aww.
And they say, we love you. Happy, happy birthday. Also, a belated, well, happy birthday belatedly to our own Jordan Fort
Yes, the
of
Fort.
CVM TV Sports.
May the Fort be with you.
Happy belated, happy belated.
Yes, thank you so very much, and happy birthday to everybody celebrating their birthday today and everybody who celebrated over the weekend. I want to also say thanks to Denise and the Coco Bella team for this wonderful, beautiful dress. Love it. It's so nice.
It's lovely.
I feel like I want to go out with the birds and the bees and just say hello. Good morning.
Meanwhile, fabulous trends over here keeping me printed and lovely.
Yes.
So, good morning, fabulous trends. Thank you so much as always.
Good morning, ladies. And of course, we got to keep our economy going. So, we have to keep buying. We have to keep supporting. And again, thanks to all the persons who've been contributing to the development, to the relief efforts. Thanks to all the prayer warriors. Thanks to everybody who is just being kind and not trying to take advantage of a bad situation. All right. Remember, reaches me, reaches you. And you never know when it will be you or a loved one, or when something might happen to your family where you will need somebody to be kind, to be thoughtful, and to be compassionate. So please remember, kindness is karma. Kindness is magic. Be the blessing that you want to see. And remember to be a blessing to yourself, be a blessing to others. All right. And just have a great day. So, Tika, what you doing? You got your bed now?
I'm going to take a little nap. not a big one, just a little nap. It's important to take care of ourselves, right?
Absolutely. Dr. Charles King said
so.
And you know what? I thought that was so wonderful of her. The Phoenix Counseling Center giving free counseling sessions to Hurricane Melissa victims. Find them on social media, guys. And if you need the help, reach out for the help. You are strong if you reach out for help, all right? So thank you so very much. Have a blessed day. Have a magnificent day. And thanks to my husband, Mr. Wilkinson, I love you like life.
Hey.
Who hold me down over the weekend. Cause remember me told you, it was so emotional, TK. If him never did it, would I shell way. You know what I mean? So thank you, my love. All right, guys. Have a great day. Happy Monday. Bye.
It never break with spirit growing up, bro. Roll out, spending like carbolic soap, yes. I regular be run boat, just to stay afloat. And be run joke, just to cope. Yeah, why not?